Greetings. I'm here to do my debrief on my shadow of the week. My shadow of the week is my version of Shop My Stash or makeup bag of the week. I try out a color or a line or a theme, something like that, and at the end of the week I get on and talk about what I liked and what I learned. This week I was playing with the Pumpkin and Poppy Montauk collection, as well as some pigments from Shiro Cosmetics. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Let me start with the Montauk collection. The Montauk collection from Pumpkin and Poppy had 6 pieces. I now have 4. I gave away the navy blue liner cream shadow product because I already had a navy blue from Pumpkin and Poppy, and navy blue is not a color I turn to a lot, so I thought, okay, well, I'll pass that one along. The other one I passed along was the Clementine lip gloss, and I passed that along for 2 reasons. Number one reason was I am doing Makeout 2013, and I promised myself I just wouldn't bring in any more lip products, and particularly I wouldn't bring in any more lip glosses. I just have so many of those. The second reason I decided to pass that along was because it had calcium aluminum borosilicate. What is calcium aluminum borosilicate? Calcium aluminum borosilicate is a glass-like or glass fiber product. It is used for bulking or it is used for sparkle in cosmetics. Now, calcium aluminum borosilicate is a low toxin, so it's not an ingredient a lot of people are going to worry about. I've been reading up a bit about it. When we consider products or ingredients that we do or don't want to use, we consider 3 things. Does it penetrate the skin? Does it penetrate the lungs? Do we want to ingest it? So let's start with those. Does it penetrate the skin? No. Everybody seems to agree about that, so that's a good thing. It is not safe in an aerosol format because then it can penetrate the lungs. The particle sizes are there. Should you ingest it? That is, should you use it in lip product? I'm going to say no. And the reason I'm going to say no is that if you read the fine print on calcium aluminum borosilicate, you will find out that they're not always 100% sure about how the cosmetic grade calcium aluminum borosilicate is made. And it can have traces of arsenic, lead, and mercury. So I don't want to ingest it. Later, I'll talk about the eye. Do I want it on the eye, yes or no? But for now, I really, in terms of having it on the lips, I don't want to ingest it. So if there is a lip product that has calcium aluminum borosilicate, I'm just going to pass on that. So I passed on the Clementine and sent that along. That left me with this Montauk eye pigment. There it is. This one also has calcium aluminum borosilicate, so it is an eye pigment with calcium aluminum borosilicate. Night Picnic, which was a gorgeous shade, particularly over Lock Bear. This Jolie eyeliner, which is a brown eyeliner. It's not deeply pigmented when it is used as a liner, so I like to use a shadow over it to make it more intense. And my favorite was the Red Menace Cream Blush. I have to use this ever so sparingly because just a little bit and I could look like, whoa, doll face. But used very, very sparingly, it is so incredibly pretty, and it is lip safe, and it's a gorgeous color on the lips. So that was the Montauk collection, and I did enjoy playing with Montauk. That's not a surprise because I always enjoy the Pumpkin and Poppy collections. Let me move on to Shiro. I bought samples of these Shiro pigments, so I just have them here in this little container from Michaels. Here is another set of pigments. These all have calcium aluminum borosilicate. Calcium aluminum borosilicate on the eye. I had to really think about that, and I decided I would just for now label them separately. I just label them CAB so that I will know. In theory, because they don't penetrate the skin, you would think, okay, it's safe on the eye, and it would be except for tear ducts. I really kind of worry about tear ducts because whatever doesn't stay in the eye, let's say it bleeds into the eye, goes down the tear ducts, in which case we ingest it. So it goes down the back of the throat. Not particularly a good thing. I do have a BRVO in my left eye. I have had to have shots and injections in the eye. I'm going to put in a picture here to show you what one of those shots looked like. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're squeamish, don't look. Just, like fast forward maybe 5 seconds because it's not a pretty thing. But it does explain why I'm so particular and so peculiar about what I'm going to put anywhere near my eyes. I want to be careful about what goes into my eye area and what goes into that tear duct area. Okay, time to get started on my look for today. The star of the show for me was from Shiro, and it was this little collection that was mushroom, badger, and snake. and I'm going to show you what those pigments look like. And I adored them. I really, really adored them. One of them was a difficult one for me to use because it is so intensely pigmented, but even that I enjoyed using. I already do have on foundation. I have a little bit of contouring on. I have done my brows, and I've put a little bit of color on my lips. I also tightlined. So those are the things I have done so far, and so let me go ahead and get started. To start, I'm pulling out the All Natural Face Vegan Eyeshadow Primer. That will help product stay in place. It also takes down some of the discoloration on my eyes. Okay, I've pulled out my palette from the All Natural Face. I have also pulled out my favorite pigment tool, which is a Starbucks stopper. And this size right here is the perfect size for getting out pigments. It's better for me than using one of those little spoons, which always takes out too much product. Love this, free. Here are the colors. This is Snake, this beautiful vibrant color. This is the Mushroom. It's a nice orange color. This is Badger. I put ever so little of this because this one is a strong one. And I've also added to it Mistrust because, again, that Badger is just a little too intense for me. So that's the palette I will be using and working with. To get started, I'm going to use two of my favorite cream shadows from Pumpkin and Puppy, Ice Dance from the Ice Dance collection, and Lock Bearer from the One Ring collection. So let's start with Ice Dance on the lid. Now in the crease area, I'm going to put Lock Bearer. I love Lock Bearer. This is safe for eyes, lips, cheeks, and I'm going to use it for all three today. For someone who isn't a product junkie, that would in fact be quite enough of a look. However, never enough color for me. So I am now going to go ahead and take this color Mushroom and run it right over the Lock Bearer. I picked up two new brushes from Makeup Geek. One was their Outer V brush, which I didn't care for, but the other was this crease brush, which I am liking a great deal. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I just go ahead and tap my brush in it and then kind of swirl it about there so I don't get too much product. Next, I'm going to take that same brush and use this shade, Mistrust. I'll take my favorite blending brush, which is this Laranine blending brush, and just blend that out. I'll clean that up in a bit, but for now, that's doing the job. Next, I'm going to just take that color Snake, that vibrant green color, and I'm just taking a flat shader brush. I love how vibrant Snake is. I had so much fun playing with Snake. Time to go back to the Lock Bearer. I'm going to go ahead and do Lock Bearer on the cheeks. And while I have the Lock Bearer out, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the lips. Time to do some liner. For liner, I'm going to go ahead and use Jolie from the Montauk collection, or Jolie. I don't know why I want to French it up, but I do. Time now for Badger, and that one is holy smokes intense. I'm going to use a lip brush. This I only use on my eye, so I'm not contaminating it with lip product and then with eye product. I'm going to go right into that Badger. Badger is a deep, deep brown, but it has flashes of that orange coppery color in it. It is quite beautiful. With that same brush, I'm going to go back into Mushroom. Time for mascara. I'm going to put on my 100% Pure in Black Tea. I'm now going to go back into Mushroom with the bigger brush and just go right over Lock Bearer with that. At some point, I managed to turn the camera off and forget to turn it back on, so I have finished the whole look. I put a little bit of Roxy on the lips with some Tarte lip gloss in Paradise. This is phenoxyethanol free. I am trying to show some love to my lip glosses, which I often forget about, so that's a product I used. At any rate, that was my very incompetent shadow of the week with Pumpkin and Puppy and Shiro Cosmetics. I loved the little trio of Badger Mushroom Snake, particularly with a little mistrust added in. Enjoyed using it so much and ended up using it a lot this week. Let me just show you what that looked like. It looks really bright on the eye, but when you stand back, it's really not at all. And so it's kind of a fun little color to wear, particularly at this time of year. It's just a little forecast of spring. So no parabens, no phenoxyethanol, no calcium aluminum borosilicate in this look. I managed to get through another week with clean makeup products. I am continuing to work on my Makeout 2013, so I am getting through some other products. One other thing, I think it was Snowgirl who mentioned that I use the word toxic products, like I'm using my oldies but toxic, or I'm trying to get rid of my toxic product for Makeout 2013. And she says, you know, words are really powerful and you probably shouldn't use the word toxic. Well, that's a comment I love because it's somebody who cares about words, and I care deeply about words. And I agree with her, words are a really powerful thing. So I wanted to say just a bit about that. I use the word toxic to remind myself that there are products that I'm using and that are in my stash that do have potential or real neurotoxins in them and that do have some carcinogens in them. And sometimes I fall in love with those products again. I mean, I start to use them and I go, well, you know, that foundation really isn't so bad after all, or this really isn't so bad. Maybe I want to get another of those. It really helps me to remind myself that that product has potential toxins. And that's why I use the word toxic. It is in some ways misleading in the same way that a product will say it's natural when it's preserved with artificial chemicals. It's not natural. And it is in the same way wrong, I suppose, to say it's toxic when it's not 100% toxic. It just has a toxin in it. So I use it as kind of shorthand for me. It's really a shorthand for read the ingredient label, make sure you know what's in it. And that's what I mean by toxic product. It means for me it has ingredients in it that I don't want to be using. So I am not saying, oh my God, the product is radioactive, stay away from it. It's a little like potato chips. Trans fat or sugar, you know, if you have a little now and then, it ain't going to kill you. But if you started to eat a diet high in trans fats, yeah, over time it would do some work on your arteries and some other things, and it just wouldn't be healthy for you. So I hope that kind of clarifies a little bit about what I mean when I use the phrase toxic product. I hope you all have great Valentine's days filled with love, loving other people and being loved by them. It's great to celebrate that even without some of the trappings that go with Valentine's Day. Just the sentiment at the bottom of it is kind of a nice one. Thank you so much for watching. As always, make it a great day. Bye.